And just for some fun perspective on this too, and kind of also the importance of when you're setting a boundary, like give it a little bit of preamble so it's not such a caught unawares thing. In the morning, I go work out, do my thing, usually have some sauna to relax, do some meditation and all that kind of stuff, and kind of walked home. And then usually when I walk in the door, you usually say hello or whatever, this is where I'm at. And I walk in the door and I'm like, silence. You must be probably still asleep. And so I kind of walked back there and I was like, oh, no, looks like, oh, I bet you're meditating. And so I kind of peeked my head around the corner to look in there, and you didn't say anything. And so I was like, ooh, she must be really in it. I'm just going to leave her be. She must be really having a great meditation right now. Literally what I thought, because I was like, ooh, I don't want to disturb her if she's not going to say hello, or maybe she's got her headphones in or something. So the story my parts were telling about how the events of the morning were going were wrong. And so, yeah, I go and jump in the shower, I'm working through my own bullshit in the morning too. And then I'm like, oh, we'll go, she's up and about now. We'll go greet her and give her a hug, and that'll be really nice. I'm looking forward to do that.
My parts have something to express.
Yeah, and as soon as I gave you a hug, I was just like, I'm hugging a very stiff piece of wood right now. Something's not right. The way it went.
Yeah. So one request that I'm hearing is to connect with you, like to genuinely connect with you a little bit before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes with the severity of it, because this was also, so let me give a little bit of perspective of the actual like offending event too, because we were in the hot tub talking about, I was actually trying to like give your coach, who's the other 7 in our life, trying to give her some praise of like, oh yeah, this is like some of the things that she'll really help you out with, because
she doesn't put up with you being a bummer.
Well, I don't know if I specifically said it like that, but I was like, she's a 7, so yeah, I guess I did say it like that. And yeah, she's not gonna put up with like your bummer parts and your silliness and all this kind of stuff. Not really being super, what I want to say here, like serious about it. I was in the hot.
My parts took it very seriously.
Yeah, I know. I was in the grace of the hot tub, and I was spitting hot fire, and I was just, that's sometimes what happens when you're speaking the truth. You get carried away. But yeah, and the other thing too is you were just sitting over in the corner, just like eating it up, and I was like, I can't do wrong now. She's just loving it, what I'm saying. So I was
eating it up.
Yeah, I was like, okay, no harm, no foul.
You
no
were
big
saying
deal.
a lot of good shit.
And so the event was like out of my mind. And this is something that is a very frustrating thing for me, of I'll like offhandedly say something and be like, yep, no big deal. Like, I didn't think that was that offensive, or even like offensive at all, for any reason whatsoever. And then I'll forget about it because I have the memory of a fishbowl of a goldfish. No, I think I have the memory of a fishbowl. That's probably more accurate. And then somebody will bring it up and be like, when you said this thing exactly like this, I didn't like it. And then I'll be like, what did I say? Like, I don't think I said it like that, but I can't remember. So I guess I got to give in. Anyways, that's just a tangent on me and my bullshit, but
I'm sure a lot of masculine creatures can relate to that.
You know what? I think that's very true, because one of the aspects of left-brainedness is that it is always crunching data, and a lot of the times it's got to dump unimportant data. And a lot of the bullshit we say and do that we don't think is really important, that goes in the dump file. And so when it gets brought up later, we have to be like, oh fuck, where's that old dump file? I gotta look this up. What actually happened? So a little bit of grace there goes a long ways. And this may be just my perspective, or this may be a thing, but when you come at a man and saying like, you said specifically this thing, without like an actual proof of it, we fucking hate that.
Yeah, what do you hate about it?
Without proof, and if we don't remember, or if we don't have like something in front of us, it's just like it's like a real challenge. And especially when it's in a relationship, that's a frustrating thing, because it's like, okay, well, I have nothing to challenge you back with besides just saying you're wrong, or like just trying to shut you down.
So how are we supposed to communicate that instead?
So this goes back to nonviolent communication type of thing, of not so much bringing it outside of this thing that you did was wrong and you're wrong because of it. It's more of, last night when we were talking, this is what I experienced.
Yeah. This is what I heard.
This is what I heard. This is what I experienced. From that perspective, like, you can empathize, like that's not so much of you coming to attack me for something that like you're claiming I did. Even if I did it, when you come at it from more of an introspective of like that conversation we had made, this is what I heard and this is what I felt, then it's like, oh, well, that's not what I intended. And then you can empathize, be like, well, I'm unhappy or sad or whatever that that's what you heard, because let me correct that then. Because when it's just an accusation of like you said this thing, there's nothing to do but fight that.
Yeah.
Because you're having a forceful encounter. Really, when it's something that you heard or you experienced, then it's like, okay, well, let me correct that then. Like that is an opportunity for me.
That makes so much sense. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I did that part okay.
Yeah, I think you did too.
Yeah, I tried to communicate it in a way of like, this is what I heard, or this is what, like when I heard that, my parts felt like this.
Yeah, because it's such a natural reaction for, especially for men, to be like, I didn't say that. And most of the time, I can't speak for everybody, because it's just like, I don't remember saying that. Because it was something I said like I didn't give a shit about. And so I'm stalling for time, looking in the trash bin and be like, did I say that?
Yeah, well, and I think that's also just part of the good work that the Lord's work you got to do within yourself to, when you set boundaries, is get really clear about what was actually said and what's the story you're telling about what was said. What's the meaning you're making about what was said. And I don't think it actually really matters in terms of like true connection, what was actually said. It matters like what you're wanting to be seen in is what you heard and how that affected you. You know, it's less about arguing about the facts of what happened.
Yeah,
but
because
it's more just about sharing what's alive in you.
That can get into a real petty thing of like, oh, okay, now, well, I can't say this, and
Yeah,
then
and
you
it's
start
not,
like
it's
to
not actually
compartmentalize it into this like, you know, tit for tat game.
Yeah, it's not going to get your needs met anyway.
Right.
Talking about it like that.
And that right there really throws a wrench in polarity, because men are going to try and compartmentalize it and like put it into, what do I want to say here, like a factual type of thing that has like hard point connections, and then like the feminine will be like, no, this is not what I want, this is just making this more confusing, like they won't be
listening.
You're not, yeah, it'll just like, it takes the magnetic force of polarity and just like flips it on its end, and now you're just
pointing away from each other.
You're just pointing away at each other, screaming in either direction.